Good afternoon, everyone. I am here to present how RFID can help in document and file tracking, and what we have done in that field. Uh, why is document tracking really needed? Mainly, document tracking is needed to track the documents once they're moving in your organization, as well as from a security perspective. If there are workflows in your organizations, then like if somebody is requesting it, what are the policies for the return? If there's a certain time they're supposed to take it out, then they're supposed to return it back. So those kind of policies and workflows can be implemented and tracked correctly. The other things is approvals. So if somebody is taking a file which belongs to another department, generally you maintain manual registers and you write down who has taken it, at what time he has taken it, and then once he returns it back, he does the same signing. So you maintain a manual register, and if something is lost, you go back to the register to see what is missing. The other thing that you can use document tracking is for process flow optimization. What process flow optimization means is, let's say there are multi-step process for a document to get processed. So what you would typically need is to know where is the bottleneck in the whole process. If a certain department is taking a lot of time, or a certain step in the process is taking a lot of time, what is the amount of time taken, why it is taken? You can then look at how the file has moved and then take a decision of how you can correct it. So it's more from a business intelligence perspective that you get inputs and insights into where and how the document is moving. You also have an electronic view of your document, so scanned copies can be attached to the electronic copies, and then you can also have an electronic tracking, which means it can tell you where exactly the document is at any given point in time, which is a real-time tracking or near real-time tracking. And more importantly, which most customers who are interested in is to know where the file is or where the document is at any given time, and what is the status. Is it stuck up or is it being processed? What stage it is in the processing. So the document tracking solution that we have these features that we're talking about. So if there are multiple organizations that work under a single organization umbrella, then we can have that set up where different departments can have their own tracking of files, which is not visible to others. So each of the files group are independently managed. You also have a custodian concept here. So a file would have a custodian, and he would be responsible for the physical file. And the file is moving around, and if he checks it out to somebody else, then that the ownership will move to the other person. Location tracking, which is if you have a building where multiple rooms are there, and we have done a couple of installations on that, and we can talk about it. Where the whole building is wired up, and as the file moves around in the building, you have exactly where and which room the file is currently present. And of course, you would have the audit trail of the document movement. It can be integrated with people tracking. So if a certain person is supposed to carry the file around, and if the wrong person is taking it out, you can stop that. So it can also act as a pseudo security system, where without authorization, the file cannot move out of the premises. And with authorization, there will be no alarms, but it can be rigged to an alarm system, which will then do an audio-visual alarm there. You also have workflows. So certain workflows can be either dynamically set by the organization, saying that the document will move first to this department, that will go to the next one. From there, it can branch out to 2 different departments. So that department can have the choice of what would be the next step. So that is a dynamic workflow that is supported. And then there could be a static workflow where the file moves based on the file type. Like if it's a case, based on the case type, the document will move in a specific workflow. You also have the Handheld application, which can be loaded on a smart device, which can do the audit or the stock check of how many files are present in a specific place. Or it can also help you in searching for a file. So if you have lost a file and there are piles and piles of files available, you can just select what file you're trying to search for, just move across, and the system will indicate where exactly it is present. So what are the components that you would require if you want to implement something like this? You would see 4 different components at the bottom. One is the tags itself. So can we show the sample tags? So the tags are like labels which you can stick on the file itself, and it can be embedded inside the file for security reasons. It's just like a label. You can print something on top of it. If you have a case number or file number, you can print it on top, and you can stick on the file. The second thing that is required is the desktop readers, which is for registration. So the tag has a unique ID, which is the RFID, which then can be linked to your case which your organization is following. So the case number can then be linked to the unique identity, which can be done with the registration device. Then you have fixed readers, which is the last component, which you have to fix up in your building, which will keep track of the physical movement of the file. So if you take a file and pass to one of the readers, it will read them, and then it will update the system of what is the latest location and what is the time it was read. So you have the last read location and the last read time. So if the file goes missing, you just log into the system and see, okay, it was read in office A at yesterday at 2 o'clock. After that, it has been missing. So you can assume that it would be inside that room.
Just to add that, in fact, you can also find the antennas over here along with the readers. So a single reader can support multiple antennas, and these antennas would be the one which would be placed at multiple locations. So at the entrance or the exit, you can keep multiple readers based on the site conditions. So that would in fact pass the required data, the tag data to the reader, and it will help in the processing.
Okay. And the last component is the handheld, which are displayed here, which can be used for stock checks and the searching for the file. So how does it work? You have a reader which is connected to the antennas. You have a tagged document, so a tag is on the document. And currently the position is unknown. As it moves to one of the departments and then it moves to the other department, the position is automatically updated inside the system. So the system is automatically tracking all the files real time. As soon as it passes to any of the entry or exit points, it automatically records the time and the position. You can also do a check-in, check-out. So you have one department which is processing the documents. So you have a registration which is called the desktop reader. You just connect it via USB to your desktop, and any tag document, initially the status is unknown, but as soon as the user A will scan the document, the system will update it that now the document is with user A. And then when he checks out, automatically the status is updated. The scenarios in which this is used is any organization which has documents that are processed, like banks for loan applications, courts for case processing, government departments for land deeds or for official documents. All of these files can be tagged, and then they can move around. Now there is a difference between document tracking and file tracking. File tracking is the folder that is being tracked, and document tracking is the actual documents that are inside the folder that can be tracked. So there are certain papers that are available which have the tag embedded inside the paper itself. And we have done one for one of the universities where the certificates themselves have a chip inside it which has the students passing information encoded on the chip. So anybody else, like any embassy or any government organization, they want to verify, they can just put it on the reader and it will read, and then it will show you what exactly is printed and what exactly is the electronic manifest of that certificate. So it also has, the electronic trail. If it is a multi-stage processing, you have what time it was processed in a certain place. It's just like work in progress. And trail can be used to also view how the document has got to where it is today. And the last application, which is unauthorized exit of the file. So you can also keep track of if a file belongs to a certain department and it is detected in another department, notifications can be sent out to correct that rather than the other department just trying to search for the file that it is missing. This is a work in progress which we talked about, file moving from one stage to the other, and bottlenecks can be identified, what is the time taken, KPIs can be set and then can be calculated as well. This is just the interface we'll talk about. This is a bilingual application, which is very important for this part of the region. So it supports English and Arabic, including the data and the screens completely can be English and Arabic at the same time. I'll walk you through the application itself. So this is the application that has been deployed in one of the courts. So depending on the user preference, automatically the system will switch from English to Arabic. And as soon as you log in, it will show you what are the current documents that you own, what are the status, where they are, what are the notifications that you need to act on. So as soon as you log in, you have a complete dashboard of what you need to do for the day. This also has user access privileges and it can integrate with Active Directory. So if you have Active Directory in your organization, it can pull in information. It's single sign-on. The person can use the same username and password to log into the application. You block him from Active Directory, he's automatically blocked from the application as well. So centrally, you can manage that. You have the document list. So all the information about the documents can be here, including for the benefit of everybody, I'll just log into the English interface. So you have a list of where it has been read and who is the current person who is supposed to be handling this. You also have a request document where you can request for a file from another department. And if they accept it, then a notification will be automatically sent to you that your request has been accepted, and you can have the file. And you can also request it for a certain period of time. So after that, there's a reminder that is sent automatically to both the owner and the requester of the pending transaction that you need to return the file back to the owner. You also have the physical tracking of the file itself. So let's say you know the number of the file. You search for the file and you want to see what is the current location. It will identify where exactly it is. What was the last time it was read on the left-hand side of the screen? What time it was read, where it was read, and also the person who was responsible at that time when it was read at that position. And if you want to see how it came there, then it will also show you how it went there, step by step from one room to the other. And if you just mouse over it, it will tell you what was the time it came here, what is the room, and so on and so forth. So you can have a complete replay of how the file went and how it came back. You also have multi-level locations, so you can identify the different locations. Like if you have multiple locations, you have city, then you have a building. Inside building, you have a floor. Inside the floor, you have a department, and in the department, you have a certain room. So it can identify to the last level, and then it can automatically tell you how it has moved from one location to the other. you have zones, so you can group up different locations. Let's say a department is spread over multiple rooms. You can club them together so that if the file is moving between these rooms, you are not concerned. You are still in the same department. But as soon as it is detected out of these set of rooms, then you can automatically trigger a notification saying that the file has moved out of the authorized zone, and then somebody has to take an action. And if the action is not taken, there's also an escalation that you can set in the system. So after 2 hours, if the situation is not corrected, what needs to be done? Who needs to be notified? After 12 hours, who needs to be notified? After 2 days, who needs to be notified? So the escalation can be set in the system, which will automatically send out notifications and alerts wherever it is required. You can also schedule a stock check, which you can do using the Handheld. So you schedule a stock check for a certain room or the archive, and then you can go in and scan all the files, which would have taken a lot more time if you are doing it individually, either counting it, or you are doing it barcode based, which is identifying one by one. So a stock check can do it together, and then you can just go in and scan all the files. It will tell you what is missing, what is found, and what is extra as well. So this is in brief, what the application does. It has a workflow which I would not want to go into because it will take a little bit of time to explain. But we have a small demonstration here where we have spread certain files around in the room. And I would request one volunteer to come in and help us in the stock check. Can someone come up?
We have the handheld device also available here, and we kept, in fact, a set of files over there. And I believe some of you are already carrying those files, because we have kept one label inside that, and you can basically use the handheld to find out. So this is just to indicate that how the search mode might happen, in fact, normally with the RFIDs, to just give you that feel that, in live scenarios, how it might happen. So
can I request someone to help us out? Thank you, please.
You can basically use this handheld. Okay, there is basically no tag data, so you can go and look out for this. Start scanning the files.
You have to press the trigger. You don't need to go close by.
So it's basically reading the tags which are coming in the range of that. In fact, okay. So just to show. It's configurable, in fact. There's an attenuation factor which is playing basically, so which can be adjusted to set to what range basically it has to read, kind of thing. Okay. So similar to that, basically you can go to any of these files. So basically, if the tags are present, it gives you that ID. Okay. So this is basically to give you that feel that even if basically the tags has been it's been banched in a if it's between the bunch of files, basically, how easily it can be taken through fixed readers. Because concerning the fixed readers, it would be shaped in the portal where multiple antennas would be there. So the orientation would be more focused, and it will give you the correct readings, in fact. So it's similar thing like in the stock check, you can use the handheld basically for the tags to get right.
Just to show the optimistic side,
You are talking about RFID right now, right? Okay, what is the type of the tag you are using and print on the papers itself? Is it passive or active tags, or what is the range?
This is basically passive tags, okay, which the frequency depends upon different places. Basically, it's around 936 to somewhere around 930-36 range, in fact, megahertz range. So it's basically the passive RFID, UHF. Sorry. The frequency is around 936 megahertz, in fact. And if you're actually talking about the distance, distance, it basically different. You cannot straight away tell the distance. It depends upon certain parameters, like the antenna placement, the tag orientations, and other things. There are certain features, but you can always tell that it's with the handhelds. Basically, it comes around 3 to 4 meters. 3 to 4 meters, and if the tags has been placed correctly, in fact, and if it's between the bunch of files, maybe the distance would be little less, but still it will read, in fact.
It's searching in the last history for the file where it was, right? But not in time search. So you actually not know if the file is there or not.
You can, in fact, go to, there is another module which helps you to find out where the last location of the files. And in the history, basically there is a date range which you can enter, so that it basically gives you, tells you that what date where the files were exactly.
Yeah.
Concerning the antennas placement in this plan, floor plan, for example,
Yes.
how the antennas should be placed? Is it like one in each room or how?
Yes. At each entry or the exit of the room, you would have to have an antenna placed in that room. And more than one antenna can be connected to a reader. So you can distribute it across the rooms. With a single reader, you can cover more than one room at the same time. But it depends on the door size. We would have to do a site survey to understand how exactly the structure of the office is. And then based on that, we can give you a site plan of where all the antennas will have to be placed.
And the range of each antenna, is it fixed or?
Yes, it is close to around 2.5 meters to be optimistic.
So we can, in other words, say that you will distinguish your place by circles of 2.5 meters,
2.5 meters.
per each antenna.
That is correct, yes.
Thank you. Any other questions, please? So basically, the bottom line is the solution, generalizing the range and the capability of the reader in terms of how much time it might take. So those things would be little difficult to judge straight away. Because most of the things, as we always point out, it would be depending upon the site conditions, the different parameters, because different things are coming in picture, like tags you have, readers you have, antennas you have. So all these things would depend. But whatever the figures we are giving over here, those are the generalized, generalized terms normally we use. In fact, yes.
Thank you for the presentation. I just have a question for the challenges you faced. Are they mainly hardware or software related? Looks like hardware is giving you a little bit more challenge in the project.
I would give it to the document tracking expert who was an expert in the implementation. The challenges you mainly faced, in fact, during the implementation.
If you talk about the challenging parts, only because of we need to get right information from your end. So what exactly, where exactly, what type of tracking you want? Like we want to track the files based on the employee level or a fire room level kind of stuff. So if you get the information based on the site survey, based on your stuff, we can make it out.
So basically, what Vinod wanted to say, it's like, it's challenges might come up during the site survey level, because we need to understand the requirements correctly in terms of what level do they want to get the accuracy. Okay, what exactly is the requirement? Because if the requirements are very clear at that moment, it would be easy for us to judge it and get up the correct, the application customization, other things. And hardware, we would be able to judge which one exactly to go for, means, what level, because there are different hardwares which are available in the market, and softwares are basically customizable to work with the different sort of hardwares as well. So basically, the challenges could come from hardware as well as from the software end. And it's basically at the solution providers end to decide how well we can, work on those challenges to bring it down to work. See, if you see over here, in fact, we had to work basically to come to a conclusion on which hardware basically we had to go for. Okay, before even starting to work on the software, because software, if you see it's only the features which customer would be expecting. But at the end of the day, whether the RFIDs, the tags are getting read correctly, those things has to be decided by the hardware. Okay, so it's basically the choosing the correct hardware before getting into the software. We should tell like that. Is that correct, Vinod?
There's one more point, is if the building is being constructed, it is typically easier to roll out a solution than one which is already operational. Because at that point in time, you have much more constraints in terms of where you can place it, how you can place it. But if it is being constructed, then there's the right time to plan for it, and you can get the infrastructure properly done, and it will not look very odd as well. Yeah.
Is that okay? I think we are also running a little short of time. Our allotted time slot is also getting over, in fact. We have a stall just behind this. In fact, if you want more queries on the same solution or multiple other solutions, like we also have a solution suite of asset tracking, various tracking systems, in fact, vehicle tracking and other related things, which we had a couple of demos as well. Which there is one more demo which is coming up maybe in next 1 hour's time. That is on the people tracking side. So if you need more details on the same solution suits, we can give you. We have people sitting over there. You can always visit our stand, in fact. Okay, TrackIT solutions stand. Thanks for visiting. Thanks for your questions as well. Thank you.